Texting. Welcome back to the Sack on a freestyle Friday. The redoubtable himself, Tom Izzo, highly questionable, Adrian Miliaccio, the brother from an adjacent mother, Pete Miliaccio. Back for segment 2, all things NFL. We gave you our predictions the other night, and we gave the San Francisco Soil Fest. Soil Fest.
Is that what it was called, the Soil Fest?
It was the San Fran Soil Fest, I think, or Soil Selection.
Soil your
shorts. Soil your shorts selection. So you went with this entire
Soil your shorts selection of the week.
This is terrible.
It's
such a bad idea.
Pete, just take over. The San Francisco Soil Your Shorts selection of the week.
All 11 men on the special teams.
There's going to be a gap.
To soil themselves on a play.
There's going to be a soiling.
There's going to be a soiling
of the special teams.
Yeah, a big moment in the game by the special teams, and that's going to tip the scales in Casey's favor.
I got a question for you guys. Why is it during the year, and I think all of us said this at one point, San Fran's the best team. Everyone said it at one point this year, that San Fran is by far the best team.
So Baltimore just said, no, sir.
So what's changed? They're in the Super Bowl, and they're playing Kansas City. What's changed?
Well, we've seen that they're not the best team, just by far.
No.
Because teams have done things like run the fuck out of them.
Yeah.
Baltimore just pissed on them in San Francisco.
They're probably the most talented roster.
I get that.
I'd say that. But after that Cleveland loss, that's kind of where it started.
Some got exposed.
A lot of them got exposed.
Because they were invincible. They were killing everybody. It wasn't even close to their games.
Now, but to your point, the talent hasn't changed.
No.
My point is
still the same group of players.
What exactly is different about that team?
I think when you just think about the talent, they seem unstoppable. But then you watch them play, and it's like,
I watched them play. I saw them shellac Dallas by record-breaking amounts, and I see them lose to a team that doesn't even belong with them, or so it would seem. Yeah. Was it Cleveland that beat them?
Yeah, but Cleveland was good.
Cleveland made the playoffs. They were a good team.
But I still didn't see Cleveland at the time. I'm talking at the time. We didn't think Cleveland was going to be a playoff team.
Well, that game went down to the wire, and the guy missed a field goal to win it for San Francisco. So it wasn't like they didn't have a chance.
No, but didn't they also get beat by a couple of...
Cleveland was a good team.
Didn't they lose to a couple of mediocre teams?
Yeah. But who were the other games? I can't remember.
They weren't great teams.
Minnesota was one of them.
Yeah, Minnesota. Yeah, they're not good.
That was when Kirk was still...
No, actually, it wasn't Kirk. It was the other dude, the backup there. What was the guy who was bouncing around?
It wasn't even Kirk?
It wasn't even Kirk. He was already hurt.
Who the hell was
What was that kid's name? They got traded during the team he started. What was that kid's name?
Oh, shit.
Remember him? He started out, it was him.
Oh, fuck.
It was him, and that kind of launched him. And then, what was the third one they lost? There was 3 in a row.
Who was that guy? He got traded to them from the Browns? Was it the Browns?
I don't remember. But he was good. He won 4 games in a row or something like that.
Why can't I remember his name?
Who was
the quarterback that came in?
Bottom line is this. Look, the bottom line is this. San Fran on paper is the more talented team. Everyone seems to do that. But then everyone quickly goes, yeah, but. So, obviously, as we've seen in the past, talent's not the determining factor a lot of times.
And that is the reason I'm going to pick Kansas City.
Okay.
Not because I necessarily think that they are better than the Niners, because... Truth be told, I don't. I think the teams, if you look at the teams on paper,
they're not bad.
They're not. But Patrick Mahomes is by far the best player on the
field. He won't crap himself.
He's already been there. He's won and lost. So he's done both.
The San Francisco Soil in Your Short selection of the week did not come out of thin air. Okay, the reality is this. At some point, if you look at except for Miami, because they just boat raced them, but if you look at Buffalo and you look at Baltimore, there was some serious diarrhea being slung on this Buffalo and Baltimore sidelines. Some serious.
I mean, because let's face it, if Brock Purdy comes out and has a couple of games that we've seen him have this year, they could boat race.
Well, I'm saying this thing. He had one stinker. It was against Baltimore.
Yeah.
But he's been pretty consistent. And
he has.
And in the playoffs, he's been great. And he's been great when they need. They came back in 2 games to win.
I know.
So,
but what happened?
The kid showed experience beyond his years.
Last week or 2 weeks ago, when they had a really bad first half against
Green Bay,
Detroit.
Oh yeah, 2 weeks ago.
How did Purdy play in that first half? I don't think
He wasn't terrible, but he wasn't great.
Yeah, because
the offense just couldn't move the ball. Kind of thing?
Well, Detroit kind of Well, first of all, they sacked him a couple times.
And also, let's be,
Hutchinson, who's a stud, got off on
let's
one.
also be a little bit realistic here.
They-
We know they have a great tailback. No one's questioning Christian McCaffrey. I know we all agree
No,
he
he's
is.
the best in the game.
And I know what a dynamic player Debo is, but him and is it Ayuk? Is that the receiver in this
Brandon
side?
Ayuk.
I know he's been good too, but I don't look at those two and say to myself, I don't look at them and think of them as Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase. I don't. I think they're good.
which one?
They're receiving.
Debo's an all.
Debo's on that level.
Yeah, but he kind of came. Last year he was amazing. This year he was kind of up and down.
Well, he got hurt.
Well, that's right. Injuries part of the game. I get it. But that he's not like, I don't look at him like a Tyreek
Against
Hill.
Philly, he had 3 touchdowns.
I know, but then he'll all of a sudden
He
not.
single-handedly ended that
He
game.
was just like Tyreek.
Yeah, but what happened to him in
that
those
game.
3 games though? Like in a row, they lost. He just
He was hurt.
okay.
He was.
Is
That's why it happened. He got hurt in the Cleveland game.
How's
missed
he
3
been in the
games.
playoffs so far?
I think he had 2 TDs, didn't
He's
he?
got 1 in each game.
So he's been
I think
good.
He's been good.
Yeah, he's
good.
got 1 in each game. But again, the thing about San Fran is, then there's Kittle. They've got an all-pro at every one of these fucking positions. So Patrick Mahomes has a aging Travis Kelce, who, to his point, has been effective in the playoffs. But San Fran actually has 2 linebackers that can cover him.
They do.
And if they're able to do that, look, this should not be. And Shannon Sharp said, he goes, San Fran should win by 2 touchdowns, but they
should.
won't
They'll lose.
because one of 2 things is going to happen. He goes, either San Fran's going to either turn the ball over or do something stupid like that, or there's going to be Mahomes is going to fucking.
I think it's gonna be a Mahomes show. I
it's gonna
just
be
think
one of
he's
those-
built. For
He
the Super
doesn't
Bowl.
think because of the weapons around Mahomes, though, he's capable of doing that.
Look at this way.
And by the way, if you look at the playoffs, he has not really done that.
Yeah, but you know
He's
something?
been
Before
smart.
the playoffs started,
He's been accurate, but he hasn't been explosive.
even during the regular season, none of us, I don't think, thought Casey was getting back to the Super Bowl with the lack of weapons they have now.
Yeah.
But here they are.
They're here because Baltimore and Buffalo both pooped themselves.
They still beat Baltimore Buffalo. You can say it all you want. They still went
Josh
through them.
Allen choked the first
forced
game
them
away.
to-
They still forced them to. However you want to word it.
Well,
They
I
still
mean-
went through the 2 best teams in the AFC besides
Baltimore was even.
My thing is like this, though.
Baltimore was even.
I think, yeah.
Baltimore,
I think
I
we
mean,
talked about
they were the more
this
talented
before,
team, too.
But the way I look at it is, last year's Eagles team was better than this year's Niners, in my opinion.
Yeah, probably was.
And Kansas City, like the same thing. The Eagles should have beaten them
Yeah.
were
by
ahead,
10
too.
points.
What the fuck happened to the Eagles? Talk about implode down the stretch.
Well, dude,
Are you
their
kidding?
defense went to
terrible.
sleep.
Look this way.
They
if-
never
if-
touched Patrick Mahomes. They were like about to set a record for.
They had set a record.
Had they set the
Regular
record?
season, 72
Was it-
sacks in regular season.
I mean, the only reason I
They
can't
never
laugh at
touched him.
the only reason I can't laugh at Philly more is because I like Dallas and they're just as pathetic. But I mean, talk about throwing the division to us. They literally
That was such a good.
That was a
team last year.
meltdown
Last
this
year.
year.
they
Oh
melted
yeah.
down. I mean,
yeah.
the front 4 was still the same, but that secondary was awful. They had no middle. The second, third level was awful for them.
and they were blaming the quarterback. I think
And
the defense just
it
lost.
negated because that front 4 was devastating last year. They all returned. They weren't nearly as effective because they could get the ball out with no problem because nobody could cover anybody.
Dude, the crazy part about that whole thing is watching them go on their run last year to the Super Bowl. The vibes around that team, I thought they were going to be good for
A long
50
time.
years. It
Yeah.
felt like.
Not Philly. No.
And my God, in 1 year, and they were 10-1 or something, weren't they?
They were on fire.
started
They were the best team in the
10
league.
and
They
1.
lost
And all,
6 of
and
their
all of a
last.
sudden it's like, oh no, the
Sorry,
vibes aren't the same. Why?
They lost 5 of their last 6.
And a lot of that 10-1 was by the skin of their teeth.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
weren't
it
blowing
was.
people out. They were dodging bullets, and
It's just so weird how
the
quickly
quarterback was
the
making-
dynamic can shift.
Well, what happened? The Cowboys went when they came to Dallas. Dallas fucking crucified them, and that was that was when they went on that streak. They've just started getting killed. I mean, Dallas beat them like 35 to fucking 14 or something stupid like that. They blew them out.
I don't remember that game.
It was the
Dallas
second one in
slapped the
Dallas.
shit
Dallas
out
was almost undefeated at home. They were playing great at home at least during the regular season. They were.
were.
Dallas should have won the first game against the Eagles this year.
Yeah, they did. They should have won that game.
Well, if you think
that was
about
when what's his face CD got tackled at like the 1.
They threw it short of the end zone, which we were screaming. Why are you throwing it short of the fucking end zone? There's no
6
time
guys
left.
in front of him.
Yeah, there's no time left. He had no shot. No, they could have beaten him in that game. So I wasn't surprised they both.
That was when he stepped out of bounds. Remember on the
But yeah, I'm just gonna. I honestly do think it's gonna be Kansas City. And it's not because I think anything is terribly wrong with the Niners. Because I wouldn't be shocked if the Niners won either. I just wouldn't. I just think
if the Niners win, it would be because, oh, wow, the more talented team actually didn't fuck up.
They
didn't fuck up. They played to their strengths. They didn't worry about what KC was doing. They just beat them because they could.
I just think you got a great coach, Andy Reid, who's probably, was this his last year if he wins, you think?
He doesn't sound like he's retiring.
People seem like they want to retire him, but then everybody goes,
no.
The interview
all
that
he does is football.
He was on Tom Brady's podcast this
He's
week.
going to need to retire.
Really?
And him and Tom, I sent it to you guys, and I said, let's see whose asses goes up first. And
I purposely didn't watch it because you said that.
Yeah, I definitely didn't watch it.
I selected Chris, not you.
Oh,
you see, I said Chris, question mark, question mark, question mark. And anyway, you didn't read it? So basically, they're on the podcast with Jim Gray.
I thought you were saying
Brady
something that was going to go up my ass.
And they were saying how they were asking Brady about what he sees, because he's going to be an analyst now, about the Kansas City team like this year, or that's different or similar from years past. And he goes right into how, every day they were being tested.
Should I play it?
Play it.
Is this it?
That's it.
Tommy, you know how tough it is to repeat.
This is
You're
Brady
the last team to do it.
and Andy
Coach
Reid and
and
Jim
the Chiefs
Gray.
have this opportunity.
Who?
Why don't you guys just try and talk about what that process is, what it was like for you, Tommy, and give Coach Reid, your opinion on why it's been so difficult.
It's hard to win one Super Bowl. So to win two of them in back-to-back years, I mean, it's very, very difficult. And I think when Coach Reid speaks to I think the teams that I was on that were able to do great things year after year, it was the character of the players, the coaches, and the system that we had that brought the best out of everybody in the biggest moments. And, we always try to put a lot of pressure on our players all the time to succeed, whether it was an OTA practice, whether it was a training camp practice, whether it was a joint practice, a preseason game. The pressure was always on. It was never, hey, I always remember Coach Belichick would come in a meet and he'd say, this is a big f***ing day. And we joke, because all those years, I had 20 years of big days, because everyone was important. And that's how we saw it. I think that really wore off. So we didn't have to wait to Super Bowl week to go, okay, now what? I think you could see Coach Reid and the impact that he has on the players, that, these guys are always, they want to show up and compete. And they don't have to figure out, oh, do I have to turn it on now? No, it's always on. And I think you play these teams, and I've been, seeing a lot of programs, and certainly had a chance to watch a lot of football this year. Not a lot of people approach it that way. Sometimes it's just too hard for people to compete like that. And I think I'd give Coach Reid all the credit in the world for his ability to compete day in, day out, year after year. And that's why the Chiefs are such a world-class organization.
I appreciate that.
Listen.
Yeah, that's
listen to this.
You said it. It's tough to get to the Super Bowl period, and then to be able to back it. You taught us part of that lesson, not only as a player and with the Patriots, but also you kicked our tail at Tampa Bay. There's a certain attitude and toughness that you've got to come into each game with, and you presented that to us down there. It was a good learning experience for our guys.
Tommy, you know how tough it is to repeat. You're the last team to do it. Now Coach Reid and the Chiefs have this opportunity. Why don't you guys just try and talk about what that process is, what it was like for you, Tommy, and give Coach Reid, your opinion on why it's been so difficult.
Yeah, he's talking. But the point is,
that was back to the beginning.
Yeah, the point is
that was interesting.
Yeah, the point is that I can't wait to see Brady in the booth, because this is the kind of shit he's going to do. And
this is going to be better than Tony Romo.
It's going to be way better than Tony Romo, because he's going to sit
Romo's
there.
great.
The insight that
You don't like Tony Romo?
He's going to be different than
Brady just sees this tells
the seeing of the game.
How. But the point is this. The reason Brady's going to be a great announcer is because he sees the game through like a coach.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, he's going to be able to tell you what the coach is thinking, like shit like that on things. And it's going to be because that's the way he was coached. So the thing is, I can't wait to see him in the booth.
That's what Romo did. Yeah. And he'll do it even better. But because Romo kept telling you literally the reads. He's like, look, he's reading off here.
But Brady won't do that. What Brady will say is, here's what they were thinking, and why they did what they did.
That's what I want.
That's what he'll do. He won't go, he's going to run it here.
Romo's always trying to be Nostradamus.
I don't care if you get the play right. I want to know the reason behind it.
I think he's going to go with a quick slant here, Jim. Oh, there it is. CD. It's like, dude, Let me watch the fucking game, then tell me about
I
it.
didn't say I like watching the games with him. I just said he knows his shit.
He does know his shit.
all.
I'm not
You
saying
said
that
he was a phenomenal announcer.
He knows his shit. He
does.
he got that job because everybody raved about how much he knew about
he's
football.
just.
Nobody thought he was like
Maybe
that.
it's his
Even
voice.
if you're a backup,
His voice is kind of
quarterback,
annoying too.
Any backup
But he does know his
quarterback knows his shit.
Look at it this way.
It was a really good.
I'm not the
quarterback.
person who got him rehired and gave him a promotion.
He obviously
the
knows his
media
shit.
said he was obviously good. It wasn't,
I
it wasn't my
thought
opinion.
he was better than good.
Yeah, but the point is, like,
When he played against the Giants, he was great.
what Andy Reid does with the Chiefs and how he keeps them prepared, like that's very much what happened in New England. Every game, every practice was like today's a big fucking day. You heard Brady say it. Yeah. Like there was never a fucking
What do you think of this guy? Was it Shanahan?
I think he's very offensively. He's as good as they come. I don't know that he's that dude.
Okay.
I'm not saying he's not. I don't know.
So RJ is a little nervous that he's going to try to be too smart in this game.
He's going to overthink it because that's his MO.
He's going to lose them.
Yeah, he's going to
Because
be
Andy
one.
Reid's a hell of a coach.
Yeah, and all he really has to do is just, what does my team do well? Stick to it.
Look at it this way.
That's all he has to
The people
And don't turn the ball over.
You were saying it earlier. You said they played stupid, but let's be realistic. The Baltimore Ravens got outcoached. They did.
Yeah,
Andy
it was
Reid
Harbaugh.
won that game.
Harbaugh is the one who cost
Reid
them.
won that game.
Yeah,
I mean,
Harbaugh's
that's what
play
happened.
calling. How are you running the ball 16 times?
And,
when you're
and by the
32?
way, I like Harbaugh. I think he's been a very good NFL coach. He's got a ring.
pooped
Actually, does he
himself.
have two or one?
Go
One.
on.
He's
pooped
put together
himself
good
on-
defenses.
I feel like him and Tomlin kind of they have the same kind of realm.
but that's a
Right,
good
wouldn't
that's a
you
good
agree?
realm to be in.
Yeah.
They've
They're
won Super
always
Bowls,
in the playoffs or on the fringe of the playoffs.
and they both won rings.
Then they have these.
Tomlin's
ones.
got two.
Tomlin's got one.
I thought he had two.
No, the other
Well,
one.
it was you're right.
Coward.
It was still
Coward
Coward.
has the first
Yeah.
one. But anyway, the thing is, I don't know
Hold on,
that Kyle
Coward-
Shanahan is
no,
like
no,
that
no.
or not.
Tomlin does have two.
No, he has one because
Ben won two.
he won one with
Coward.
With Coward,
He
and
did.
won-
Coward was there?
That was the first one in 05. Then he won the one in 010. Was it 10 or 11? It was 10.
It was against Kurt
been
Warner,
10.
It was
right?
against Kurt Warner. They beat Kurt Warner.
They had a great
Yeah.
receiving core. That
Yeah.
It was when
Arizona team.
isn't that
Oh,
when he
yeah.
hits Antonio Holmes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was probably Roethlisberger's
The
best
sad
game.
part was when Arizona had Larry Fitzgerald and
Yeah.
Anquan Bolden.
They were studs.
What a stud receiver!
One of
And
the-
Dude,
Anquan
remember
Bolden
Larry
was
Fitzgerald
6.
caught the
dude.
touchdown pass with
Kurt Warner.
Larry Fitzgerald
Kurt Warner
is
got a Super Bowl with two teams.
Larry Fitzgerald is silently behind Jerry Rice and Moss. He's right there.
right.
He was awesome.
He's
Larry
he's.
Fitzgerald
If he wasn't on the Arizona Cardinals, we'd hear his name a lot more.
He was
because
like
he's on that team.
He was like, I don't know if you remember Darryl Green for the Redskins back in the day.
I
Darryl
thought Darryl
Green,
Green was smaller than that.
but no, I was saying he was consistent. Darryl Green was a consistent Pro Bowl every year.
Oh, he was light and
He was
fast,
lightning
too.
fast, but he was consistently great. And Larry Fitzgerald reminds me of him as on the offense side.
And by
he was
the
just
way,
consistently
Larry
great every
Fitzgerald
year.
put up the numbers he's put up.
That's what I'm saying.
Mediocre quarterback.
Yeah, he was
Yeah, the dude was
consistently.
irreplaceable.
Larry
Except
Fitzgerald
for
was.
Kurt Warner. But
was-
Kurt Warner was old.
But it was only like 2 years.
Larry
ago.
Fitzgerald was consistently between 12 and 1,400 every year, come hell or high water. It didn't matter who was throwing in the ball. He was going to get like between like 8 and 14 touchdowns. He was so fucking
And when
consistent for like 11, 12 years.
And all
straight.
said, all the Cardinals did, they added Kurt Warner and they added
Warner.
Bolden, and bang, that team
they
was
both
flying
raced.
that year.
They should have won that game.
Dude, Bolden, he was a likable receiver too.
Bolden killed the Patriots
He was
one
tough.
year
Yeah.
when Aqib Talib got hurt.
Yeah.
He went down and Bolden tore a new one when he's playing for Denver in the fucking playoffs. Was it Denver?
Denver.
Or was he on?
No, he went to Baltimore.
He was on
That
the.
was
Was it the Ravens? It was the Ravens.
At
Yeah.
33 to 40.
It was when Baltimore came into New
But we
England.
were
and
beating them.
33 to 40.
But then Talib pulled the fucking hammy in the middle or first quarter of the game. He goes
That guy
out
was a good
and
corner.
Bolden went off after that. We had no one to cover him.
Talib was a good corner.
he
He was. And and by the way, he had Bolden's number.
I mean, they had.
It was a nice
the
matchup for
Patriots
us.
had some serious. Ty Law, fucking stud.
Ty Law's the most underrated quarterback.
I said Ty Law and Deion Sanders were the two best cornerbacks of their generation. Everybody thinks I'm
And then you got
Ty Law has 3
Then you
Super
had
Bowl rings.
Revis.
Yeah, Revis was late. He was at the end of that. At the end of Ty Law's
He won
career.
one, right?
He won with the Patriots.
He was
yeah.
on the
Patriots.
He was on them against
They had
Seattle.
Revis for 1 year. They beat Seattle. They had.
Dude,
they
that
had-
was a guy who it didn't even seem like he was that good because they just wouldn't throw the ball near him.
He's
No,
scared the
Revis
shit out of
Island.
him.
Revis Island.
It would be like, yeah, what did Revis do? Well, they didn't throw the ball.
Well, he had one tackle,
yeah, exactly.
2 passes to finish, and then no one breathed on the right side.
You
of the
know what it is? They all learned, and it's sad because Reeves doesn't get the advantage in this now, but they all learned from Dion. Like when you get a cover corner of that ability, you can't throw at him. When you do, he'll just ruin your life. Because we were talking about it before we went on the air about how taunting. Like Dion would catch it and he's laughing at you as he's running. And
Dude,
he's high steps. He's ruining your life. He's ruining your life.
Remember when he caught the one against Atlanta?
Yes. 90
His old team
in their
house
down
the sideline,
and he starts dancing.
And
he's dancing at the end. He's dancing. It was. By the way, it was,
the Atlanta Falcons have had some serious dirty pool.
Yeah,
they really have.
That was tough one to take.
They've been gut punched more than once.
Well, the thing is, though, when you see a corner like that, and Rivas he wasn't as good, but he was close. He was like that. He was that type of corner. If you threw it, you're like, oh fuck. If he picks it, he's gone.
But Rivas wasn't electric like Dion. Like I mean,
nobody's like. I mean, Dion's a freak.
I mean, like, dude, and then you see him like getting inside the park home runs in the fucking big leagues.
Up in the Reds.
In the offseason.
Reds.
Bo Jackson was the only athlete he made all-star teams in both pro football and baseball.
Bo
Jackson was sick.
Yeah, I mean, all of a sudden Dion.
Bo Jackson was sick.
Dion was not a great baseball player.
Dion in the World Series, even though they didn't win, Dion hit 300 as a leadoff hitter for the Braves.
Okay, that wasn't his norm though.
No, but he was a leadoff hitter.
But he was
a contact hitter.
He hit the ball in the gap.
Oh, he was.
He's a two-bagger.
He's a two-bagger.
He's a two-bagger.
It's a single. Well, if it goes,
it's a fucking.
And also, he was great in the outfield. He could fucking track down.
He won a Gold Glove, didn't he?
Yeah,
I think he did.
Do you remember that?
He just wasn't as good as Bob.
You remember You remember the highlight of him? I think it was an inside the park home run, or maybe he scored on a hit.
I know it was an inside the park home run.
He's at the fucking home plate, like swinging his fist. He like hit his own teammate. But you could just see the intensity for him was different. It was different than the baseball
I also
players.
remember them saying
like
Dion,
he had that football intensity.
They also said that Dion didn't hit, and they showed him one time coming from third home, and the catcher tried to stand him up, and he fucking ran the catcher over. He lit the catcher up.
Football,
he's like, dude, I may be a cover corner, but I'm a corner in the NFL.
And you're not.
And you are not.
You don't play in the NFL.
Yeah, he ran
you slide home and fucking wrap you up.
Dude, he ran right through him and went wham, smack the base.
So we're all on the Chiefs. Now give us a San Fran soil. Who's gonna give us a candidate? Who's gonna soil themselves? I've got the coach. He's got the special teams. Give us a potential unit or player who's going to soil themselves.
Well, because you have to be thinking somebody's going to soil. If you're saying that the Niners are better and they're not going to win, then somebody's going to soil.
Someone's going to soil themselves.
I think, and I don't even think he's going to soil himself. I just think he's not going to play as well. I mean, that's why they're going to lose.
That's a soiling. That's a soiling.
But I don't think
he's saying the QB.
Well, because he's going to have to outplay Mahomes, and he's not going to, and that's going to suck.
That's not how
he
has to look at it.
I know, but he's going to look at it that way. That he's going to feel. Because he's going to feel the pressure. That's what I'm predicting. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm saying.
So he's got Brady as the soil.
You asked me who to predict. Usually, if you lose, it's because the quarterback fucked up.
Well, the coach.
So let me ask you this, because you're usually good at interpreting answers from athletes in terms of what it means for them emotionally. So I've heard Purdy in a couple interviews, like they were like, "Are you ready to disappoint Taylor Swift?" And he was like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, what else did I see him say? And I felt like they were trying to ask him questions to like walk into things and like, oh, he's talking shit.
Dude,
he's talking shit about Patrick Mahomes.
Dude, they did that to Ted Johnson of the Patriots on the fucking radio. They asked him, which one of your buddies has went out with the ugliest woman? And he goes, oh, by far is Vince Wilfork. And the problem was Vince Wilfork married the girl as his wife. And he said it on the news. And the worst part was Vince Wilfork was fucking pissed.
Oh my God.
He's like, you motherfucker. He goes, I remember that motherfucker. Like, he said a mean fucking
that
tweet.
Dude was scary.
That dude's 340 fucking pounds.
And
he's a goddamn grizzly bear.
And he can fucking move.
And don't know, Ted Johnson's not a small guy.
Who's Ted Johnson?
Linebacker for the
linebacker.
Patriots.
He's still jacked now.
Yeah. He's jacked.
But
that was a hell of a fight.
It was like, I felt bad about. That's a perfect example of a radio journal taking advantage of somebody. Because why would you ask somebody? That's a loaded question to get asked.
Yeah, because even if whatever he says, it's going to turn into something like, oh yeah, he's talking bad about women.
And the worst part was, I don't even think he knew that they got married. He didn't know it was his wife. He just said it, like, you know, and I'm not
maybe he just married
this one. No, he's one big. She was so hideous. I threw up in my bag outside.
And then immediately you pull up Vince Wilfork's wife and you're like, this must be the one he's talking about. That's fucked
Dude, the
up.
sad part is,
It's true.
That's terrible.
oh, dude, yeah, every branch. All the
Anyway,
way down the ugly tree.
Poor woman.
bridge.
That poor woman gets
I
dragged
felt
through the
so
mud
bad
because these
for her.
stupid fucking
Yeah, because
radio
he said
guys.
And the worst part is,
radio
the worst
idiots.
part is she's not good looking, so that's why it
I
sucks.
know, that's fine. I'm
Terrible.
sure she doesn't, you know,
You don't.
she doesn't need to be reminded by the word.
I mean, yeah, he, to his point, I don't think he knew that he had married her.
No.
But
But you know how Boston media is.
Yeah.
We just love
we
to throw
just
gasoline.
love a good controversy.
gasoline fight.
But here's the thing. Maybe he didn't marry her. Maybe when Vince Wilfork was seeing other women, they were ugly too. And he just meant, well, he's definitely, you know, been with the ugliest women. But then they look at his wife now and she's not that attractive. And it's like, oh, God.
No, because the thing was, he was like, the last woman I saw him dating was disgusting. And it was her. That was the person. He's like, it was disgusting.
Okay,
Like,
well, that guy's an idiot
oh,
too.
it was so.
You can't tell me he got set up and he went
She was just.
No, they were all laughing, but they didn't realize, like, no one was putting, you know, it's kind of like when they did that thing on Howard Stern when it was like, blank or doodle do. And he goes, I'm going to go with cock.
Oh, God.
blank
That last one was
Willow.
just disgusting.
I'm going to say pussy.
Oh, damn, that's fucked
Anyway.
up.
That's kind of what it was like.
That's fucked up.
Only he didn't know the joke.
Oh, yeah, she's hideous.
Oh, dude. I told you, man.
She's looking like a boy.
I ain't saying shit.
I can't.
Dude, he's going to call up the show. He want to kill us.
Vince, I love you, Vince. I'm sorry. Vince, beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. That's all that matters, Vince. That you love her. That's all that matters, okay? I mean that.
Oh, man.
It just.
God damn, that was funny as fuck. I need some kind of
So anyway, on that note,
Well, no, what I wanted to ask you was in closing. This, by the way, he's a diehard Cowboys fan, has been since birth. I wanted to ask you, I haven't had a chance to talk to you about this, but in your opinion, did Jerry Jones, was he right to bring back the gang again? Should he have gone after Belichick? Did he? What do you think of? What is your gut telling you? Was this something? Did he even? Why Mike McCarthy? Why are you staying there when this guy can't get it done? And again, everyone wants to blame Dak. To be fair, though, none of the fucking team showed. That defense was giving up 6.5 yards of play. So it's not all on Dak.
it is all on one man. One man only.
Yeah.
And he needs to die. No. He needs to shed his mortal coil and move from this world. Jerry Jones needs to die.
He needs to die.
Plain and simple.
I've heard
Dallas
more.
is
You're
not
not the
going
first
to
person I've heard
win.
say that.
They're not going to win while that man is in control of that team. And the reason I say that is because
Oh, that's all right.
we've all seen it year after year after year.
How
How many years have we heard the Cowboys are loaded? How many years?
Look, I don't think the last 2 years it was because of lack of talent. I can tell you that.
When has it been lack of talent?
Well, look, I'm not arguing with you. I'm saying the last 2 years they may have been the two most talented teams.
When
I've
is the
seen
last time,
since the Super
in
Bowl
your
teams.
opinion, when was the last time the Dallas Cowboys had a good coach?
Parcells.
How long ago was that?
Oh God, over a decade.
98? 99, something like that?
Somewhere around that 2000 maybe.
Maybe 2000. Maybe.
Well, he had
right?
Bledsoe.
You didn't like Wade Phillips? I thought Wade had like a year that was good. I think he had a good year.
Wade Phillips.
I think every coach they've had in there
You like
has
Wade
been a Jerry Jones puppet. They've been absolutely fucking terrible.
Oh my God.
Because the way the Cowboys lose is what's painful. It's not that if they got blown on
Tell
every
me you
game.
didn't like Jason Garrett?
Jason Garrett is the worst fucking coach I've
He
ever
might
seen.
be a
in my
worse
life.
analyst.
Yeah, and
As
that's-
bad a coach as he was, he's right
and
about
that's
that.
saying something.
That's saying something. He might be a worse analyst.
And that's saying something.
Remember,
And
remember when he said that? He's like, well, they're going to allow it to play football. Now, boys and girls.
dude,
Look at
They
this
got
way.
their pads on.
Somebody explain this to me.
He'd be like, we got a football game.
Someone's going to win?
Two quarterbacks.
Let me ask you
two
guys an
quarterbacks
opinion.
playing against each other.
Let me ask you guys
Trying to win.
Let me ask your opinion of the Dallas Cowboys, this year's team, for example. Did you think it was the roster why they lost?
No.
What did you think it was?
I think it's, well, you know what? That's not entirely true. Because
Because when they won, they
Did
both
you
race
hear-
teams, so they won.
Did you hear what was it Lawrence? Yeah, Derek Lawrence said, or DeMarcus Lawrence?
Yeah.
Did you hear what he said?
What did he say?
On the air, on Radio Row this morning.
What did he
Damon Woody fell out of his fucking chair on Get
What
Up.
happened?
Damian Woody and Bart Scott both. He's there. He was on one of the shows on Radio Row, and they were asking him, "Why do you think you guys fell short? What happened?" And he looks right into the camera, dead fucking serious. He goes, "Tired legs, man.
No.
We're exhausted, gassed, long season." Damian Woody's face. It was like Marcus Spears, but worse. He's just fucking. He's like this, going. Like almost like he's in shock. And then they go to Bart Scott. Bart Scott, so he's just like, just like this, like fucking. And then Dan Orlovsky, of all people, tries to defend what this. He defends. They go, look, we don't always have to agree with them, but they're giving us an honest answer just because you don't like it. And Woody goes, Orlovsky, are you nuts? He's like this. He's like, every freaking team is tired. Every team is tired. Two teams are going to go to the Super Bowl. You have a chance to go to the Super Bowl, and you're going to give us dead legs? That's your fucking excuse, dead legs? And they're looking, wait, what line? Like, dead legs?
That was his explanation for getting boat raced by the fucking Packers?
Yeah, dead legs. The team was exhausted. They were spent. Long season.
That's awful.
That is
Did
awful.
you know that?
No, he didn't hear it. He clearly didn't hear it.
I don't listen to look
This
way.
was this morning.
Because
He's
because
like-
because I've been a Cowboy fan so long, I'm conditioned to once they get eliminated, I don't listen to any news or anything from any friend, especially because I know
not
they're
gonna
only
make it
sending
better.
shit to break my balls.
This
So I don't listen.
This would have
I
given
just
you a
don't
heart
listen.
attack if you heard it.
Because I look at that roster and I see how good they are building offensive and defensive lines and rosters, and yet they put together all this talent, they spend all this money, they bring in the free agents. Look at their receiving core. That fucking receiving core is loaded.
the thing
and
is-
they still get beat. And by the way, Philly melts down. They get home field gifted to them, basically. Gifted to them.
Insane.
And they didn't even lose to Detroit, the team that was supposed to maybe beat them at home. They lost to the fucking Packers, the fucking 7 seed. The 7 seed.
Badly.
At home, when you were undefeated at home.
It was a
Dude, it kind of reminded me of the Mets. I'm serious.
How so?
So,
well, from a talent perspective, yes.
yeah, because...
No, but the Mets have never had a history
Hold
of
on a
winning.
second.
The
No,
Cowboys
no,
have.
No, I'm talking about this
Past year?
This Packers loss reminded me of 2 years ago when the Mets won 101 games.
Yes.
And they got
But at the end of the season, they folded to the Braves, got in wild card, and the Padres came into Citi Field and beat them in a 3-game series. All 3 games were at Citi Field.
That third game.
Well, remember, it was the same thing. It was like,
It was
you
painful.
did all that this year to fucking poop
He
yourself
just pooped himself.
in that game?
That was a
It was
classic.
just like what the Cowboys did.
That was a
But the thing
classic
is, though, the
scheme.
Cowboys find a new way every year in the playoffs to fucking lose.
But the thing is, Pete, when you asked me, is it the locker room? I said it's partially the locker room because this is the attitude in that locker room. And by the way, Bart Scott alluded to it because Bart Scott was in the league for 12 years. He goes, the line on Dallas when I was playing was, hit the bully in the mouth, they'll fold like a lawn chair, and that's what they do. That locker.
Who said that?
Bart Scott.
Really?
He said that was the line on Dallas. They'd say, just hit him in the mouth, they'll go away.
He told that story after he
And right
heard-
after hearing this, yeah.
you want to know why?
And Damon Woody didn't dispute it. He's like, yeah, that's true.
You want to know why the Dallas Cowboys don't win? Because the Dallas Cowboys are the only team in the... Well, I shouldn't say the only team. There's a lot of crappy teams in the league that probably have the same problem. But if you look at the Kansas City Chiefs, they're not... I don't even know who the fucking owner is. I don't. I know who the coach is and the quarterback. The only reason I know Robert Kraft up here is because I'm from New England. That's how I know him. Otherwise,
not-
Belichick, Brady. That's who you
That's who
knew.
you know. Yeah, that's who you
All
saw.
these teams, you know the coach and the quarterback.
you see them all the
You
time.
don't know the fucking owner.
the owner's
The owner isn't making a spectacle of himself and making himself, if they don't do like he's Steinbrenner or something.
Jerry Jones.
And it
is-
didn't even
little
fly with
fun fact for
Steinbrenner.
you. Little fun fact for you. Jerry Jones is the only owner in the NFL that has his own radio show. Weekly guest spot on a radio show. He's the only owner.
And
in
the
NFL
worst part is he's
that has
fucking
that.
81 years old. Are you kidding me? I can go to an old age
I'm
home and
saying
have a
is-
better
but is
conversation
it-
about football.
And the shit
But
he
is,
says.
so is that really what's causing these people to fold like
Yeah.
lawn chairs?
I don't think the right
He
people are in
puts-
places. They
you
don't.
know what?
They don't have the right
There are
personnel.
guys that have played in Dallas and they left and they were so relieved when they left because they felt like every day they felt like they were under this pressure, not coming from a coaching staff but from the owner. Like he was always looking over your shoulder.
Damn.
Every fucking day he was on the field. Every fucking day they're like, this guy doesn't. And he tried. It was almost like he was trying to be the coach.
Right.
and coach the coach. He's like, oh my god, like he just
and I'm sorry,
and no
that
one
doesn't
questions him. No one, I don't know what his son does. I know son. Look, they draft well. They get a lot of talent,
really well.
but the talent's not the problem. I think it's they don't have guys. They don't have dogs in that locker room.
And that's because
They don't have dogs in that
leadership
locker room.
comes
They got talent in
from
the
the
locker room.
leadership
I think
comes
that
from
Micah
the
Parsons
leadership
isn't a
comes
dog.
from the
No, he's a
top.
fraud.
It does. It comes from the top.
Yeah.
You are led by your coach.
Well,
if you have a great coach, things happen.
So you think
things,
McCarthy's a fraud?
I think McCarthy is. He's a fraud in big games. Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
He's a great
His
front
record
runner.
in big
He
games
led
is
him to
bad.
12-5 seasons back to back. It's tough to fire a guy for that. But when you get bounced in the first round, literally both fucking years.
Both years.
Actually, 3 years in a row.
Who
Green
beat in the
Bay.
Super Bowl? Who Green Bay beat in the Super Bowl when he won it?
Steelers.
Pittsburgh.
Steelers. Yeah.
Steelers. 27-20, I think, or something like that.
Yeah, you hit
Ben
out
was
with
their
Sim.
quarterback.
It was
It was Rodgers.
Aaron
It
Rodgers.
was Aaron Rodgers against Roethlisberger.
Damn,
Yeah.
that's a nice matchup.
Should have been a nice match. It was a good game.
No, it was terrible. I felt so bad for my brother Mark.
Yeah. That was beautiful. Watching that idiot. But anyway, no, look. The Cowboys' problem is the owner. I think Pete's 100% right. I've been saying it until this
That
guy
guy
needs to
needs
sell.
to
He needs to die, sell the team, because he'll never. And the thing I wanted to ask you was he never pursued Belichick. Belichick checks all the boxes of what kills that team,
Listen to
including
this.
and he never even called them.
Keep going.
And the thing is,
Tell him how Belichick would have changed. Tell him.
Belichick would have changed everything because first of all, he'd have walked in. It would have been his team, and Jerry can't handle that. Jerry is more interested.
Didn't we already learn in 95
when he fired?
But he fired a
But
guy.
got
you-
two championships out of it.
You'd think
Yeah,
after
but
30 years of
he
losing,
already did it once. You think he's going to admit that he's wrong
but
and
you think-
hire
but after
the best
30
coach of all time? And then when they win, you think he's going to get the credit? No, they're going to Belichick.
he should get credit for hiring Belichick.
Exactly.
But he doesn't look at it that way. He
I'll
looks
tell you-
at it
I'll
as,
tell you what.
oh, I had to bring in Belichick to
know
save
what?
my ass because I'm an idiot. That's the way he looks at it. Instead of as being a good owner and hiring the best coach
Because
available
honestly,
for the job.
how we would look at him was like, wow, he actually swallowed his ego for the team.
Yeah,
That would be
I agree.
admirable if he did.
Dude,
that.
if he hired Vrabel,
Vrabel's would have been.
if he no else, I wouldn't mind him hiring.
Vrabel took Ryan Tannehill.
I like the Zimmer signing though.
I don't mind the Zimmer.
Dude, Zimmer used to run a good defense in Minnesota.
I like
Was he your
him,
new
but
defense coordinator?
yeah,
yeah,
but
Mike Zimmer. I mean,
You know
head
who I
coach,
would've-
I don't love him. D coordinator, I think Mike Zimmer's good.
you know who I wouldn't mind seeing, but not in Dallas. The reason I say not in Dallas because Jerry Jones. And I can't believe nobody offered him a head coaching job. How did Eric Bieniemy not get offered a head coaching
Oh,
job?
we were talking about Washington screwed him the other night. The other night on the show, we were like, I can't
Wow,
believe
did they screw
they
him.
screwed him. But again, to his point, new ownership, new regime, they want their guys.
want their guy.
He didn't
Yeah.
necessarily do anything wrong, but if he didn't fit what they were trying to do,
But it's crazy when you think about what's happened to Eric Bieniemy. He should just fucking stayed in Kansas City.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and not worried
Well,
about
look,
this
he wanted to be a
bullshit.
head coach. He earned that right to get a shot at least. I don't know if he was going to go or not, but he earned the right to get a shot.
Yeah.
And he never did, no matter how much he did. And
Well, the problem is now Dallas just lost what, Dan Quinn?
Yeah.
They got what's his name, Zimmerman.
yeah,
Zimmer, Mike Zimmer.
Mike Zimmer.
How good is Zimmer?
I like Zimmer.
He's good.
So he was. I remember him as the Cincinnati D coordinator. Then he got the head coaching job in Minnesota.
Yeah.
And I feel like Minnesota had some tough defenses under him.
Well, look at it this way: if Dallas once again drafts good, because they usually do, let's assume they draft good, and they get a defensive tackle, I mean a big time run
big guy.
stopper,
Yeah.
they are fucking loaded again. So what do we?
Who were the two D tackles on the Vikings? It was like Patton something.
Oh,
I think they had the same last name.
Yeah, what the hell?
What are they free agents?
No, I'm talking about when Mike Zimmer was
When
the head
Zimmer
coach.
was there,
he had like two
There was
bulls,
two
right
guys
in the middle.
right in the middle.
Well, then he knows what to shop
Fucked
for.
everything up.
Because if he can make Dallas great against the run.
I can see the guy. Was it number 99?
I think so.
Actually, you know what
He
else I
was
think
one
he's
of
going to
them.
do that's going to be good? Stop moving Micah Parsons around. Let him play one fucking position. He doesn't
Is that
need
what
to
they've
be.
been doing?
Yeah.
Well, that was William McGinnis' elephant thing. They'd move him around the Patriots all the time. They called the elephant position where they just kept moving up and down the line. And he'd pick a spot to go in. Which is really cool because the defense has a hard time. What's he going to do? They have no idea. He's walking the line wherever you fuck up.
Yeah,
he's
but
gonna
when
go.
they started doing it with Micah, all he ran into was triple teams.
Yeah. Maybe he couldn't do it right. He couldn't
Maybe
do it right.
he couldn't. I don't know. But I'm just saying his sack. I mean, he still
Because
had.
normally, if that's what you do, you're a pass rusher. Being given the freedom to roam up and down the line with it like a freaking cat, like that's freedom.
Oh, I know.
Now it's like I don't have to two gap. I'm pick my spot where they can get in.
I didn't realize that Zimmer was a defensive assistant for the Cowboys.
When?
It says he won a Super Bowl with them in 1996.
Well, shit, he would have been a good
Yeah.
choice.
He's a good choice.
Yeah.
Well, he's the D coordinator.
Yeah. No, but head coach. Anyway, whatever. No.
He wasn't a great head coach.
No, but did they have a team with this kind of talent?
Minnesota Vikings 2014 to 2021.
Look this way. Dallas, once again, they have money. We know that.
Yeah.
They'll sign a defensive free agent or they'll draft one. So it ain't going to be the roster again next year. The roster's going to be loaded again as usual. And as usual, they'll do the same thing. They'll go 12-5. And as usual, they'll probably squeak by and win the division again. And they'll have home field, probably come in second to the Niners again. And they'll get beat in the first round again. So we don't really even need to watch the 2024-2025 season when we already know what's going to happen.
He almost makes me feel bad for him. And most of you guys are not, to Stephen A's point, it was nauseating, disgusting. But him and Eric, by the way, if you're watching, you and my brother, the only two Cowboy fans that are realistic and make sense. The rest of them are all like, it's our year every fucking year. So kudos to you
Give me a
guys
fucking break.
for that. Anyway, that's going to do it for our show tonight. We enjoy the Super Bowl on Sunday. It's a KC sweep here across the board.
High tail.
And we will talk to you guys. We'll return Monday night for the post-game show and let you know who was the hero, who was the GOAT, and who was the one who sold in his shorts. So until then, for the redoubtable one, Tom is the highly questionable one, and good to have you back, brother. Miss you.
Great to have you,
Good to Pete back.
Thank you.
We will see you guys very soon. Enjoy the Super Bowl. We outie.
Dude, I'm looking on all these freaking rosters for the Vikings to see